Assalamualaikum. Today we are going to continue where we left off. Today we are still talking about the rule and government among the Arab. And today we are talking about the rulership of heerah, the rulership in geographical Syria, and the rulership of Hijaz. So uh, let's let's start with it. The rulership in heerah ever since Cyrus the Great, BC 557 to 529 BC, united the Persian. They ruled Iraq and its neighborhood. Nobody could shake their authority until Alexander the Great vanquished their king Dawar the First, and thus subdued the Persians in 326 BC. Persians' land were then forced, divided, and ruled by the kings known as the kings of Sects, an era that lasted until 230 CE. Meanwhile, the Carthaginians occupied some Iraqi territories and were later followed by some Adnanians who managed to share some part of Mesopotamia with them. The Persians, under the rulership of Ardashir, who had established the Sasanian state in 226 AD, regained enough unity and power to subdue the Arabs living in the vicinity of their kingdom and forced the Quda'ah tribe to leave for Syria, leaving the people of Hira and Ambar under the Persian domain. During the time of Ardashir, Hima al-Wada exercised rulership over Hira and the rest of the Iraqi desert area, including Rabi'a and Mudar in Mesopotamia. Ardashir had reckoned that it was impossible for him to rule the Arabs directly and prevent them from attacking his borders unless he appointed one of them who enjoyed support and power of his tribe as a king. He had also seen that he could make use of them against the Byzantine kings, who always harassed him. At the same time, the Arabs of Iraq could face the Arabs of Syria, who were in the hold of Byzantine kings. However, he deemed it fit to keep a Persian battalion under command of the king of Hira to be used against those Arabs who might rebel against him. After the death of Jadhima and during the era of Kisra Sabo bin Ardashir, Amir bin Adi bin Nasr al-Lakmi was ruler of Hira and Ambar, which started from 268 to 288 CE. The Lakhmi king remained in rule of Hira until the Persian appointed Qabah bin Fairuz, in whose reign appeared someone called Mazdak, who called for dissoluteness in social life. Qabah and many of his subjects embraced Mazdak religion and even called upon the king of Hira, Al-Mudhir bin Ma'usama, to follow suit. When the latter, because of his pride and self-respect, rejected their call, Qabas discharged him and nominated Harith bin Amir bin Hajar al-Kindi, who had accepted Mazdak's doctrine. No sooner did Kisra Anusayran succeed Qabas than he, due to hatred of Mazdak's philosophy, killed Mazdak and many of his followers, restored Mudhir to the throne of Hira, and gave orders to summon under arrest Habib, who fought refugee with Al-Qaib tribe where he spent the rest of his life. Son of Al-Mudhir bin Ma'usama, maintained kingship at a long time until An-Nu'man bin Al-Mudhir took over. Because of a calumny born by Zaid bin Adi al-Abadi, the Persian king got angry at An-Nu'man and summoned him to his place. An-Nu'man went secretly to Hani bin Masud, chief of Saiban tribe, and left his wealth and family under the latter's protection, and then presented himself before the Persian king, who immediately threw him into prison until his death. Kisra then appointed Iyas bin Qubaysah at Taif as king of Heerah. Iyas was ordered to tell Hani bin Masud to deliver An-Nu'man up to Kisra. No sooner than had the Persian king received the fanatically motivated rejection of the part of the Arab chief, he declared war against the tribe of Saiban. He mobilized his troops and warriors under the leadership of King Iyas to a place called Dikal, which witnessed a most furious battle where the Persians were severely routed by the Arabs for the first time in history. They say that this occurred very soon after the birth of Prophet Muhammad SAW, 8 months after Iyas bin Qubaysah rise to power over Heerah. After Iyas, an Persian ruler named Azadhabah was appointed over Heerah, ruling for 17 years, from 614 to 631 CE, after which the authority returned to the family of Laqab. When Al-Mudhir Al-Mawrud took over, hardly had the latter reign lasted for 8 months when Khalid bin Al-Walid fell upon with Muslim soldiers. The next topic that we are going to discuss, the next two topics, is about the rulership in geographical Syria and the rulership in Hijaz. Rulership in geographical Syria. During the tribal immigration, some branches of the Quda'ah tribe reached the borders of the geographical Syria where they settled down. They belonged to the family of Sulay bin Halwan, of whom the offspring were the son of Daj'am bin Sulay, known as Ad-Dazaimah. The tribes of Quda'ah were used by the Byzantines in the defense of the Byzantine borders against both Arab Bedouin raiders and the Persians. A king was put in charge of them. One of their most famous king was Ziyad bin al-Habula. They enjoyed autonomy for the considerable phase of time that lasted from the beginning of the 1st century to near the end of the 2nd century CE. Their authority, however, ended upon defeat by the Ghassanites, who were consequently granted by proxy rulership over the Arabs of Syria, who had Dumatul Jandal as their headquarters, which lasted until the Battle of Yarmouk in the year 13 AH. Their last king, Jabalah bin al-Ayhum, embraced Islam during the reign of the chief of believers, Omar bin al-Khattab. Rulership in Hijaz. Ismail administered authority over Mecca as well as custodianship of the Al-Kaabah throughout his lifetime. Upon his death at the age of 137, 2 of his sons succeeded him, Nabit and Khidal. They also see the opposite in order. Later on, their maternal grandfather, Muda bin Amir al-Juhumi, took over, thus transferring rulership over Mecca to the tribe of Juhum, preserving a venerable position. Very little authority remained for Ismail's sons, even though they held a sacred status since it was their father who built the Kaaba, the Al-Kaaba. Time passed without the case of the children of Ismail changing until the role of Joachim declined prior to the invasion of Bukhtanasar. The political role of the Adnanids had begun to gain firmer ground in Mecca, which could be clearly attested to by the fact that upon Bukhtanasar's first invasion of the Arabs in the leader of the Arab was from the Adnanids, not from Joachim. Upon Bukhtanasar's second invasion in 587 BC, however, the Adnanids were frightened out to Yemen, while the Israelite proclaimed prophet Bukhaya fled to Syria from Haran with Ma'ad. From the Bukhtanasar present lessened, Ma'ad returned to Mecca to find none of the tribe of Joachim except Josam bin Jalhama, whose daughter Mu'anna was given to Ma'ad as wife. She later had a son by him named Nizar. On account of difficult living conditions and poverty prevalent in Mecca, the tribe of Joachim began to treat visitors of Al-Kaaba poorly and obtained by force its funds. That aroused resentment and hatred of the Adnanis, son of Bakar bin Abdul Manaf bin Kinana. They, with the help of the tribe of Khuza'ah, that had come to settle in the neighboring area called Mount al-Zahran, invaded Joachim and frightened them out of Mecca. Rulership was left to Khuza'ah in the middle of the 2nd century. Upon leaving Mecca, Joachim filled out the well of Zamzam, leveled its place, and buried a great many things in it. Amir bin al-Harith bin Mudad al-Juhumi was reported by bin Ishaq to have buried the 2 gold deer of Al-Kaaba together with the black stone in the Zamzam well. After sealing it up, he and those with him escaped to Yemen. Ismail's period is estimated to have lasted for 20 centuries. It means that Joachim stayed in Mecca for 21 centuries and held rulership there for about 20 centuries. So, upon the defeat of Joachim, the tribe of Khuza'ah monopolized rulership over Mecca. Muda tribe, however, enjoyed 3 privileges. So, we'll start at number 1, or we just call it the first. So, the first is leading the pilgrim from Arafat to Muzdalifah, and during the rite of Mina on the day of sacrifice. This was a great authority of the family of Al-Ghaf bin Murraf, descendants of Ilyas bin Modal, who were called Sufa. These privileges meant that the pilgrims were not allowed to throw stones at Al-Aqaba until one of the Sufa men did. When they finished stoning and wanted to leave the valley of Mina, Sufa men stood on the 2 sides of Al-Aqaba, and nobody walked past that position until the men of Sufa passed and cleared the way of the pilgrims. When the Sufa perished, the family of Sa'ad bin Zaid Mana from the Tamim tribe inherited the responsibility. The second is Al-Ifadah, leaving for Mina after Muzdalifah on sacrifice morning, and this was the responsibility of the family of Adwan. The third is postponement. The of the sacred month, and this was the responsibility of the family of Tamim bin Ali from Bani Kinana. So the third is, so we have finished the third. So let me continue. Khuza'ah reign in Mecca lasted for 300 years, during which the Adnanites spread all over north and side of Bahrain and Iraq, while small branches of the Quraysh remained on the side of Mecca. There were Halul Sawim and some other family of Kinana. They enjoyed no privileges over Mecca or the sacred house until the appearance of the Qusay bin Kilab, whose father is said to have died when he was still a baby, and whose mother subsequently married Rabi'ah bin Haram. From the tribe of Bani Udwa, Rabi'ah took his wife and her baby to his homeland on the borders of Syria. When Qusay became a young man, he returned to Mecca, which was ruled by Hulay bin Hasab from Khuza'ah, who gave Qusay his daughter Hobah as wife after Hulay's death. A war between the Khuza'ah and the Quraysh broke out, resulting in the Qusay taking hold of Mecca and the sacred house.